Imagine this. You're scrolling on your phone using Wi-Fi, turning on a light bulb in the room, maybe even streaming your favorite playlist. But here's the twist. Almost everything you just did connects back to one of two countries, the UK or Australia. Two nations half a world apart, silently competing for the title of greatest innovator in history. Which side really changed your life more? Stick around, because the answer isn't what most people think. By the way, drop in the comments where you're watching from, Team UK or Team Australia. Let's see which country shows up stronger. The United Kingdom is often painted as the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines hissing, factories roaring, and new machines rewriting the rules of society. But Australia, a nation still considered young on the global stage, has been quietly crafting innovations that now live inside your pocket, your car, and even your own body if you've had certain surgeries. Here's the thing. History books tend to spotlight the obvious, Britain's spinning jennies and railways, while overlooking the fact that Aussie scientists handed the world tools like Wi-Fi and the cochlear implant. And that makes this rivalry more than just interesting. It's about who actually shaped the modern world you're living in today. Let's start where it all began. For the UK, the 18th century was like striking a match in a dark room. Suddenly, steam engines began powering mines, ships, and locomotives. James Watt's improvements to the steam engine in 1776 didn't just make machines run faster, they changed human speed itself. Imagine living in a world where the fastest you could travel was by horse, and suddenly you could outpace nature with mechanical fire. That's the kind of leap the UK delivered. Then came the spinning jenny, the cotton gin, and the mechanical loom. These inventions didn't just make clothes cheaper, they transformed entire economies. Factories sprouted across Britain, and soon the rest of the world was wearing the future. But let's not underestimate Australia. While it wasn't the industrial hub Britain was, survival in the outback sparked its own brand of genius. Settlers and locals developed water-saving techniques, unique farming equipment, and practical tools to deal with one of the harshest climates on Earth. Necessity, after all, is the mother of invention. And in Australia, necessity wasn't just a motivator. It was life or death. One powerful example, the stump jump plow. If you've never heard of it, that's because history rarely celebrates it. But farmers in Australia couldn't grow crops without it. This invention allowed plows to jump over tree roots instead of breaking, making farming possible in tough, root-filled soils. It didn't just feed Australians. It turned the land into an agricultural powerhouse. So while Britain was reshaping the urban landscape with smoke and steel, Australians were reshaping the land itself, carving survival into invention. But survival was just the beginning. Soon, both nations would push past survival and comfort into something even bigger. Innovations that would save millions of lives. If there's one area where innovation means the difference between life and death, it's medicine. And here, both the UK and Australia delivered miracles that shaped the health of humanity. Let's start with the UK. Imagine a world where smallpox, a disease that scarred and killed millions, was unstoppable. Then along came Edward Jenner in 1796. With a simple, almost unbelievable experiment using cowpox, he pioneered the first vaccine. One breakthrough and suddenly the tide of history turned. Vaccination, a word we throw around casually today, began right there in Britain, saving countless lives across centuries. But the UK didn't stop there. Joseph Lister, in the 19th century, realized something nobody wanted to admit. Surgeons themselves were spreading infections. His introduction of antiseptics meant cleaner surgeries, fewer deaths, and a complete transformation of hospitals. Add Alexander Fleming's discovery of penicillin in 1928, and you've got another life-saving revolution. Antibiotics weren't just medicine. They were a reset button for human health. And here's where it gets interesting. While Britain was rewriting the rulebook on fighting disease, Australia was shaping modern medicine in ways most people don't even realize. Take the cochlear implant, often called the bionic ear. Developed in the 1970s by Australian professor Graham Clark, it restored hearing to the deaf. Imagine silence becoming sound for the first time. That's not just innovation, that's hope reborn. Or think about ultrasound imaging. It was in Australia, in the late 1950s, that Dr. David Robinson and George Kossoff pioneered the machines that let parents see their unborn babies for the very first time. Before that, pregnancy was a black box. Now, life inside the womb became visible, safe, and trackable. Millions of lives have been safeguarded because of it. And then there's Wi-Fi. Yes, we'll dive deeper into it later, but remember, it wasn't just about scrolling Instagram faster. The CSIRO's Wi-Fi breakthroughs in Australia began as a project to study black holes. That research now connects hospitals, emergency services, and remote communities, bridging the gap where medicine and technology collide. Quick question for you. Have you or someone you love ever had an ultrasound, a vaccination, or used Wi-Fi to talk to a doctor? If so, type yes in the comments. It's wild to realize how much of that traces back to just these two countries. But medicine is only one battlefield. To truly dominate history, you have to move people, literally. And that's where the rivalry shifts gears, from saving lives to fueling the machines that drive our world. When you think of transportation revolutions, your mind probably flashes straight to the UK. And honestly, it should, because Britain gave the world the railway. Picture this. The year is 1825 and George Stephenson's locomotion number 1 roars down the Stockton to Darlington line. For the first time in history, humans could travel faster than a horse using pure mechanical power. Railways didn't just move people, they moved entire nations into a new era. Towns grew into cities, trade exploded, and time itself became standardized, all because trains demanded a clock everyone could trust. But the UK wasn't done rewriting the skies. In 1937, Frank Whittle patented the jet engine, an idea that looked more like science fiction than engineering. Within a decade, that invention made crossing oceans in hours, not weeks, a reality. Today, when you board a flight, you're stepping into Britain's blueprint for global travel. And while Britain pushed forward with rails and jets, they were also lighting the world, literally. Thomas Edison may get the pop culture credit, but it was Sir Joseph Swan, a British physicist, who independently developed the incandescent light bulb around the same time. Overnight, humanity extended its working hours beyond daylight. Factories ran longer, cities stayed awake, the world glowed thanks to the UK. Now, here's where Australia flips the script. Because while Britain built the machines, Australia built the safety net. Take the black box flight recorder. Every time you hear about a plane crash investigation, the first phrase is, "They found the black box." That invention came out of Australia in the 1950s, created by Dr. David Warren. His motivation? His father had died in a plane crash, and Warren wanted answers. Today, that small device has saved thousands of future lives by preventing repeat disasters. Or consider ultrasound again, not just for medicine, but for engineering. The same tech that reveals babies in the womb also detects structural weaknesses in airplanes, bridges, and machines. Developed further in Australia, it became a global standard for safety inspections. Australia also played a role in renewable energy research, with scientists leading advances in solar power technology. While not as headline-grabbing as the railway or jet engine, these breakthroughs are shaping the future of sustainable transportation and power. Here's a challenge. If you've ever taken a train, flown on a jet, or felt safer knowing planes use black boxes, hit the like button right now. Let's see how many people actually owe their everyday travel to these two countries. But movement and machines are only part of the story. Some of the greatest battles for innovation happened in places you couldn't even see, in invisible waves of science and technology. And the rivalry there is even more shocking. Some inventions don't scream for attention. You might never see them, yet you interact with them every day. Here, both the UK and Australia quietly reshaped the world. Start with Britain. Alan Turing, often called the father of modern computing, didn't just crack codes during World War II. He laid the foundation for the computers and smartphones you use today. His work on algorithms and computing machinery is the reason apps, websites, and even AI exist. Without Turing, your digital life would look drastically different. Then there's penicillin, discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1928. While antibiotics are now commonplace, think about the millions of lives saved before your grandparents were even born. This wasn't just a lab success. It was humanity's first effective defense against bacterial pandemics. The UK also contributed big in theoretical physics and chemistry, giving us tools to understand the universe while creating gadgets that made everyday life easier. Steam engines evolved into turbines, simple chemical reactions evolved into plastics, and the British knack for turning theory into practice became a global engine. Meanwhile, Australia has quietly been changing the world in ways most people don't realize. Wi-Fi is perhaps the most shocking example. Developed by the CSIRO to detect black holes in space, its adaptation has created the wireless networks we depend on daily. Imagine life without your phone, your laptop, or instant communication. Now picture that life never happening because this Aussie invention didn't exist. That's the scale of impact. Then there's solar power research. Australian scientists helped develop practical photovoltaic systems that power homes, satellites, and even spacecraft. Their breakthroughs might not make headlines, but they're quietly powering your future. Even search and rescue tech has roots in Australia. Engineers developed systems that now allow emergency services to locate lost or injured people faster than ever, saving thousands each year. Think about your morning routine. Did you check your phone, rely on Wi-Fi, or turn on a solar-powered device? Drop a comment if Wi-Fi just saved you some time today. Let's see who's really feeling the Aussie impact. But science isn't just about gadgets or waves you can't see. Some innovations hit your daily life in ways you touch, wear, or carry. And these inventions are even more surprising. Sometimes the biggest impact comes from the smallest things, items so common you probably don't even think about them. Yet their origins tell a story of rivalry and ingenuity. In the UK, some of the simplest inventions changed the world in ways that are almost invisible. Take the adhesive postage stamp, introduced in 1840. At first glance, it's just a little square of paper, but it revolutionized communication. Suddenly, letters could travel reliably, commerce accelerated, and people stayed connected across continents. Or consider toilet paper, mass-produced in Britain for the first time. Yes, it's mundane, but think about it. Basic hygiene shaped public health and comfort for millions. Television is another UK contribution. John Logie Baird's mechanical television laid the foundation for the global media landscape. Today, billions of people watch shows, news, and sports thanks to early British experimentation in transmitting moving images. Now, Australia might surprise you. While it didn't dominate the Industrial Revolution, it introduced innovations that directly touch modern life. Take the plastic banknote, durable, tamper-resistant, and now used worldwide. Or the electric clothes dryer, which helped households everywhere save time and effort. Even medical devices we use at home, like insulin pumps or certain imaging tools, often trace their origins to Aussie labs. And let's not forget Wi-Fi again. Born from Aussie research, now embedded in nearly every electronic device you own. It's fascinating to realize that whether you're brushing your teeth, mailing a letter, watching a screen, or simply connecting to the internet, you're interacting with inventions from these two nations. Here's a fun one. Check your wallet, your remote, or your phone. Which of these do you think has a UK origin, and which might be Aussie? Comment your guesses below. Let's see who spots the Aussie gems. But life isn't just about what we use. It's also about what entertains us, inspires us, and shapes culture. And when it comes to media and arts, the battle between the UK and Australia gets even more surprising. Innovation isn't just machines, medicine, or Wi-Fi. It's also music that moves you, films that inspire you, and media that reshapes how we see the world. And here, the UK and Australia have both left indelible marks. Start with the UK. Few countries can claim a cultural footprint as huge as Britain's. The Beatles didn't just make music, they revolutionized an entire generation. Their sound, their influence, their style became a global phenomenon, inspiring countless artists worldwide. And music wasn't the only arena. The World Wide Web, created by Tim Berners-Lee, originated in the UK. It fundamentally changed how we share information, consume media, and even think. Without Britain's contributions, the internet as we know it might look very different today. But Australia isn't just catching up, it's making waves in unique ways. Consider film and television innovations. Aussie studios pioneered special effects techniques that are now standard in Hollywood blockbusters. Shows like Neighbours and Home and Away didn't just entertain. They trained generations of actors, producers, and directors who went on to global fame. Then there's interactive media and gaming technology. Australia's early development in video effects, animation, and broadcast media contributed to immersive experiences we now take for granted. Think about the movies and TV shows you binge without realizing Aussie talent made them possible behind the scenes. Even in music, Australia has produced world-changing artists and tech that influences how songs are produced and shared. And of course, Wi-Fi makes all this instantly accessible. Whether you're streaming a British classic or an Aussie indie hit, these innovations collide in your living room. Take a second, scroll through your favorite playlist or the last movie you watched. Could you guess which of these global favorites has roots in the UK and which was shaped by Australia? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious which side dominates your screen time. From life-saving breakthroughs to everyday gadgets and from railways to rock music, the influence of these two nations stretches far and wide. But now it's time to step back and see the full picture. Whose innovations truly changed the world more? Who really changed the world? Look at everything we've explored. The UK's steam engines, railways, antiseptics, penicillin, Turing's computing breakthroughs, the Beatles, and the World Wide Web. Each invention reshaped the world in ways most people take for granted. Now consider Australia. Wi-Fi, cochlear implants, the black box flight recorder, solar energy research, plastic banknotes, and entertainment innovations quietly influencing Hollywood and gaming. These breakthroughs didn't just keep up with the UK. In many cases, they leapfrogged it, solving problems that affect millions every single day. The truth? It's not an easy call. Both nations have left fingerprints on nearly every corner of our lives. From life-saving medical tech to music that defines generations, and from transportation to the devices in your pocket, the influence of the UK and Australia is everywhere, sometimes obvious, sometimes hidden. So here's the challenge for you. Look around right now. Your phone, your internet, the music you play, the food you eat, even your morning commute. How many of these innovations trace back to Britain and how many to Australia? And more importantly, which ones would you miss the most? Take a moment and comment below. Are you Team UK, Team Australia, or are you starting to think the answer isn't so simple? Share one invention that blew your mind the most. Let's see which country dominates your daily life. Remember, this isn't just about history. It's about recognizing the hidden threads that connect us to human ingenuity. Every day we walk through a world built by both the UK and Australia. A world of inventions, culture, and discoveries that keep shaping tomorrow.